Hey everyone. Ever feel like your brain's about to explode from way too much to do?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to dive into something that might help.
Okay.
It's called the Pomodoro Technique.
I've heard of that.
It's based on this really interesting podcast episode. It's from Mindset Mechanics. It's called the Pomodoro Technique Does It Really Work? So basically you work like crazy for 25 minutes.
Okay.
Take a 5-minute break.
Gotcha.
And you do like 4 rounds of that, then take a longer break.
Okay.
The question is, does it actually work?
Yeah, is this a real thing or just like another one of those
Right.
internet hacks?
Exactly.
Yep.
Another productivity fad.
Right.
So that's kind of what we're here to figure out.
Yeah.
Let's-
Well, it may seem,
Yeah.
almost too simple,
Yeah.
but it turns out there's actually a lot of science behind it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's fascinating is how it kind of works with your brain.
Okay.
You know how like you can't just focus for hours and hours?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Your brain just kind of doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Well, there's these things called ultradian rhythms.
Oh, okay.
It's like the natural cycles your brain goes through. And guess what? These 25-minute work chunks,
Yeah.
they kind of line up with these cycles.
Oh, wow.
So you're really working with your brain.
That's way more interesting than I thought it would be.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like not just forcing yourself,
No, not at all.
but more like going with the flow.
Exactly, going with the flow. And
Yeah.
those breaks,
Yeah.
they're not just a reward.
Right.
They're like crucial for your brain to process everything.
Okay.
Think of it this way. It's like sprinting versus a marathon.
Okay.
You can go all out for a short time, but
Yeah.
then you need a break.
Totally.
Otherwise, you burn out.
Makes you wonder if that's why we struggle so much with productivity. Like we try to do these marathon work sessions when our brains are like, no way, I'm a sprinter.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's get back to the Pomodoro technique. Does it actually help with procrastination?
Procrastination.
Like we've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
You've got this giant task, and you just want to do anything else.
I know.
Laundry, dishes, anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Well, one of the cool things about this technique is it breaks things into smaller chunks.
Okay.
Like a 25-minute timer
Yeah.
doesn't sound as scary
Well-
as like a whole project.
So it's like tricking your brain to actually start.
Kinda. You're just taking these baby steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
I can see how that would help.
Right.
Like it's not a mountain anymore. It's
Yeah.
just a little hill,
A little hill.
25 minutes at a time.
Exactly.
But what keeps you going?
After the first one.
Yeah, like after you get over that initial hump.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's all about momentum.
Momentum, yeah.
Each time you finish a Pomodoro, you feel like you accomplished something. Your brain is like, yay, we did it.
It's celebrating.
And it gives you a little dopamine.
Oh, so it's like a little reward.
Exactly. And then you want to keep going.
Makes sense.
So you're kind of hacking your brain's reward system.
Like making it work for you.
Yeah.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly. You get a win, you feel good, you do another one.
You keep going.
Yeah. It's pretty clever.
Yeah, it is pretty clever.
But of course, no technique is perfect.
Right.
There are some downsides to this too.
Okay, like what?
Well, sometimes those timed intervals can be a bit disruptive,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're in a flow state.
You mean like when you're really in the zone?
Yeah, like the ideas are just pouring out,
Or unstoppable?
and then bam, that timer goes off.
It's like hitting a wall.
Exactly.
Especially for creative stuff, I
Yeah.
could see how that would be annoying.
Yeah.
But I guess there are ways around that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like maybe you use the break to brainstorm instead
Yeah.
of completely stopping.
Exactly. You got to adapt it to what works for you.
Okay.
And, that brings up another potential downside.
Mm.
The time blocks can be a bit rigid.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like if you have a day full of meetings,
Yeah.
it might be hard to fit those Pomodoros in.
Okay, so it's not as simple as just setting a timer and that's it.
Right. It takes a little bit of effort.
You got to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
But before we talk about that,
Okay.
let's talk about some of the misconceptions people have.
Misconceptions.
Yeah, about the Pomodoro technique.
Like what?
Well, some people think it's only for easy tasks.
Really?
Yeah, like you couldn't write a report or design a website in 25 minutes.
Oh, I see.
But that's not true at all.
No.
It's about breaking big things into smaller steps.
Right. Like we talked about.
Exactly.
Okay.
And another misconception is that the breaks have to be exactly 5 minutes. But again, it's about being flexible.
Right.
If you need a longer break, take a longer break.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's more versatile than it seems at first.
Yeah, it really is.
But how do you actually use it?
like practically.
Yeah, how do you make it part of your work?
Well, let's talk about that in part 2.
Sounds good.
So you want to try this Pomodoro thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First tip,
Okay.
start small.
Wait, really? I thought we were going all in.
I know it's tempting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But trust me.
Yeah.
Just do one Pomodoro first.
Just one.
Yeah, just to see how it feels.
Like a test run.
Exactly.
Okay, so just dip my toe in the water.
Yeah, before you jump in the deep end.
All right, makes sense.
Now, next thing is distractions.
Oh.
You got to minimize those.
Oh, man, that's my weakness.
I know, right?
Like my phone is basically designed to distract me.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So how do we fix that?
Yeah, how do we fix that?
Well, it's like building a fortress.
Okay.
A fortress of focus.
I like it.
So phone on silent,
Okay.
or even better, put it in another room.
Wow, okay, serious measures.
Close any tabs that might tempt you.
Oh, all those shopping tabs.
Especially those.
Okay, fine.
And let people know you're not to be disturbed.
Like put a sign on my door.
If you have to.
Okay, okay, point taken.
Seriously, these little things make a big difference.
That's like those distractions can't even get to me.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about the distractions inside my head?
The wandering mind.
Yeah, like I'll be working and suddenly I'm thinking about what to eat for dinner.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where mindfulness comes in.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. Even just a few deep breaths before you start
Okay.
can help clear your head.
So it's like prepping my brain for focus.
Exactly.
Okay, I can try that.
And here's a pro tip.
All right, hit me.
Keep a notepad handy.
Okay.
If a random thought pops up,
Yeah.
write it down.
Oh, so I don't forget about it.
Right. And you can deal with it later.
So I'm acknowledging it, but not letting it take over.
Exactly.
I can do that.
Good.
Okay, so we've covered distractions.
External and internal.
Check it, check.
But what if those 25 minutes just aren't working for you?
You mean like if I'm super focused and want to keep going?
Or if you're hitting a wall before the timer even goes off?
Yeah, what then?
Well, remember, this technique is flexible.
It is.
Yeah, it's a framework, not a rule book.
Oh, okay.
So experiment with different times.
Like shorter.
Yeah, maybe 20 minutes, even 15.
If I get fidgety.
Exact.
And longer if I'm in the zone.
Exactly. It's about listening to your body.
So it's personalized.
Totally.
Okay, that makes me feel better, like less pressure.
Good. Now, how do we stay motivated in the long run?
Yeah, that's the real challenge.
Well, here's the key. Track your progress.
Track it.
Yeah, like mark off each Pomodoro you finish.
Like on a calendar.
Sure, or a notepad.
Okay.
Just so you can see how much you're accomplishing.
Oh, I like that.
It's visual, right?
Yeah. Like little victory every time I check one off.
Exactly. Makes you want to keep going.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, what about all your fancy apps and tools?
Oh, yeah. I love a good app.
Well, good news.
Yeah.
This technique works with them.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Think of it as a foundation.
Okay.
You can build your whole system on top of it.
So I can still use my to-do list app.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So it's not about replacing everything,
Look.
more like adding another tool to my arsenal.
Exactly. And don't forget your why.
My why.
Yeah, like why are you doing this task?
Oh, right, to remind myself of the bigger picture.
Exactly. It gives you purpose.
And that keeps me motivated.
Exactly.
Okay, I think I'm getting this.
Good. Feeling more productive already.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anything else before we move on?
Just remember, the Pomodoro technique is a tool.
Okay.
It's not magic, but it can be powerful.
If I use it right.
Exactly. Experiment, adapt, find what works for you.
Okay, I'm ready to try it out.
Awesome.
Now let's hear what our listeners think. Okay, so we've talked a lot about this Pomodoro thing,
We have.
but now it's your turn.
Ooh, listeners.
Yeah, think about like, what's your biggest productivity struggle?
Mm-hmm.
What's that one task you always put off?
The one you dread.
Exactly. Now imagine tackling it with the Pomodoro technique.
Just one 25-minute chunk.
You might be surprised how much you get done.
It's true. It's amazing what you can do when you really focus.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be this huge project.
Right, just start small.
Just one Pomodoro.
See what happens.
Who knows? Maybe you'll kickstart your whole day.
I love that. A productivity kickstart.
So listeners, what are you going to conquer today?
Let us know.
Yeah, give it a try and tell us how it goes.
We want to hear about your Pomodoro experience.
Maybe you'll become your new secret weapon.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, and that's okay too.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly. This whole productivity thing.
It's a journey.
It really is. You got to keep experimenting.
And figuring out what helps you be your best.
Well, this has been a super interesting deep dive.
It has.
We learned about the Pomodoro technique,
all the science behind it.
the good and the bad,
And most importantly,
how to make it work for us.
right, because it's all about being productive.
Exactly. And thanks to all our listeners
You guys are awesome.
for joining us on this journey.
We love exploring this stuff with you.
Keep those brains working
And we'll catch you next time.
on the next deep dive.